Asif, welcome to the podcast. I'm really excited to welcome you here because you have really strong background with technology. You've been helping companies to grow, especially in the retail and e-commerce space. So I'm really wondering now, and we will dive deeper, but with your experience now, what do you think are the major challenges that companies in the retail space currently go through?
Yeah, thanks, Michael. Thanks for the opportunity. I'm really excited to share my insights and thoughts, especially from the technology perspective. As you mentioned, been in the e-commerce and retail space for the few years now. And what I see in terms of how technology has played a great part in e-commerce and obviously retail tech itself. What I see that, especially from retailers where they struggle or where the challenges are, is how do they manage both technology and the existing environment, what they are working in, meaning the data that they have, the customer experience that they want to bring apart. So based on that, my experience has been that what I've seen, especially in the Middle Eastern market, where most of my time has been spent for the last, I would say, 8 to 10 years, is that data plays a big part in the retail and e-commerce platform environments. And yes, you see a lot of organizations setting up businesses. Obviously, they want to come online, they want to scale, and then they're trying to understand what type of technologies they need to use. So there are a lot of challenges internally for them to, come. Obviously, there's a lot of competition, so they're quite eager to get onto on the platforms and or integrate solutions that might be right for them, might not be right for them. So they do make a lot of mistakes initially, not understanding what is the requirement in the market itself, and two, how do they implement, integrate these solutions. So that's where I think I come in, or have my expertise in terms of both from the cloud environment as well as from the data perspective. So when I say from a cloud and data, obviously, the cloud industry has definitely matured quite rapidly, especially in the EMEA regions. In the Middle East, it's taken a bit of a slow burner type of thing, but now it's exploding. We see big data centers opening up in the Middle East. I'm based in UAE at the moment. Working on obviously a data platform itself. And the challenges and the experience I've had with clients, both who want to come on board, or both from a B2C and a B2B point of view, is that data plays a big role. Obviously, there's a big buzzword, or I would say from a technology point of view, we say data is the new oil. So if you don't have the right data, you're not going to get any output out of it. And then obviously you hear another buzzword, AI is coming into the market and it's going to help to revolutionize the tech industry. Yes, it definitely is. But again, to implement AI, you need to understand, its requirements as well, in terms of where there's prerequisites required, right? You can't just install an AI solution like chatbot, or obviously generative AI that's been exploded in the last year or so. Great for people who understand it, right? How to implement it and how to make use of that. For me, I would say AI plays a role definitely in the data market, but it's like, again, just giving an example here is like, you can't teach a robot to just build a car. You need to give it the right parts or right instructions, meaning that it needs to understand how to put those in place. Another one would be, using your sat nav navigation maps you have in your cars and stuff. Just imagine, having a navigation without a map. It wouldn't understand. It wouldn't be able to direct you. So it's the same thing with AI. You have to give it the right information, the right data to make use of that data. Obviously, data, again, needs to be cleaned and needs to be structured in such a way that it's easy to implement and understand by the algorithms or the AI solutions that are given it. Again, another terminology that's been used, or phrase I would say, is if you give it garbage, you want to get garbage out. So give it the right, nice, clean data, you get really good insights, from both from a what do you call infrastructure point of view, and again, a lot of analytic insights as well. For us, what we've been doing, obviously, we collect data for B2B solutions, which means that we get a lot of insights in terms of what's the market trends, and then we can provide market insights and a bit of intelligence back to the retailers. AI definitely is going to be playing a big role if you got the right data in terms of customer experience, understanding what their requirements are. Personalization is going to be a big market in the e-commerce platform environment. Again, AI and having right clean data will help to implement these solutions.
Interesting. Well, you mentioned really interesting things regarding the data challenges and challenges specific to implementing AI solutions. Why don't we dive deeper when it comes to data? Because some people may wonder, what exactly do you mean? Whether you are talking about product data that needs to be cleaned from different vendors, or do you mean customer data, or maybe some other third-party data? Like, what exactly do you have in mind, especially when you talk about retail companies?
Yeah, again, it's all in one, as you mentioned. It's customer data, it's product data, it's supply chain data as well. Most importantly, today's market, I would say, especially if you have an e-commerce platform as a business, and you want to promote yourself and obviously draw traffic as well towards your platform in terms of organic traffic or paid traffic as you do from Google and all that. To get that right, there's a few things that from a data point of view, you need to get right. Again, from my experience, what we've learned over the past 4 years or 5 years was, yes, having right data, then having the right marketing strategy, and then also presenting that data in such a way that one, it's what we call it SEO-friendly on the platforms. There are a few, I would say, tricks and tips to do that with clean data as well. So when I say, like you asked, what is it? Is it product data? Is it customer data? Let me go, one by one in terms of product data, right? Product data, what we say that is the more information you have on the product itself, like say, example, an iPhone, right? It's on every platform, on every website. People are, if they're selling these products, the key thing is having the right name, the model name or the right description, right? Having the right specifications. That's very key. So what we've seen is, especially in the Middle Eastern region, the platforms that we work with or we see quite regularly is the data is quite chaotic. Nobody's following the standard conventions. They have their own ways of describing the product. Yes, it's an iPhone is an iPhone, but then to make yourself more visible on the platforms, and from a Google point of view, an SEO point of view, there's a few tricks and tips to implement, and that is making sure that your description is clean. Meaning, the more information you give, or the more information you provide on the description point of view, the more user-friendly Google is to you, meaning it likes you, it'll promote your product as in your site and rank you higher on the Google Analytics point of view. So what we do is, or what I've seen is that we can help clients clean that data, where we provide what we call manufacture product names. One example is, again, you see a lot of phones being advertised on multiple platforms. From a color point of view, one phone might be, yes, it's black. It's called black, as in standard black, but from a manufactured point of view, it's probably titanium black. Because that's the right manufacturing name. Or Apple, for example, again, they have a red color phone or a red iPhone, but from a manufacturing naming convention, it's called product red, right? So the more cleaner or right information you give, obviously, again, from a SEO Google point of view, it ranks you higher. So that's one point from a data point of view. And again, from big businesses or even small business who are starting up e-commerce platforms, what we see that their categorization is, not standardized as well, meaning they have their own naming conventions, or they have their own subcategories where products are placed in these categories and subcategories. Again, yes, I'm going to stick to the example of the phone. You can stick it in, or submit it into a category of electronics, or you can put it in the category of mobile phones. Yes, they're both correct, but if you, again, from an SEO, from a from a Google point of view, where you want to rank, the more cleaner or structured data you put in these categories, it's more easier for the product to be discovered, and more easier for the analytics to rank you higher. So again, we see clean data, meaning the product data, and then the more information you give, the better. And then also having it in the right category. Yes, like I said, with the phone, you can call it a mobile phone, you can call it a smartphone, you can call it a feature phone, but based on the phone itself, if it's in the right category, you'll find from a marketing perspective, it's very easy to discover those products if it's in the right category. So that's from a product point of view, where we do a lot of cleaning, I would say. And then we come to obviously customer data, right? Where we can monitor and behaviors and see what they've been clicking on the environment, on where what they've browsed, in a sense, right? There might be a scenario where they've clicked but not clicked it to shop to cart, right? They haven't put it into the cart, but they just browsed. So capturing those type of clicks and information is quite key, and try to understand, why did the person leave my platform, not without any buying anything. So I would say that my expertise are not on the customer side. It's more on the data side, data product side, where we understand data, how it should be presented, which categories this to be. Again, from a website perspective, meaning what the URL looks like. There's very key things that you have very long URLs for a product. The shorter the URL with the right product name, with the right structure as well. There's a marketing tip as well, where you need to make sure that the URLs of each product has its own URL, its image has its own URL, and then the backlinks as well, then your breadcrumbs on the website. These all need to take place in such a way that from a technology point of view, it's programmed properly with the right data, clean data, which helps organizations to rank their websites, and obviously Google will favor you in terms of bringing you higher up in the analytics as well.
Yeah. Well, I can imagine this is a huge challenge, especially if the e-commerce shop uses lots of different retailers, and sometimes there may be an overlap with the products, right? And an iPhone could be provided by several vendors, and then they also have in the feed the same product, but potentially with different names or descriptions. So in this case, is there any central database? Is there any such thing that would put together a list of unique products, and then you would map the vendor's products to this unique database?
To be honest with you, no. We haven't come across any, or I've done a lot of market research. I've done a lot of speaking to a lot of vendors, a lot of e-commerce platforms. I currently work with over 300 plus e-commerce vendors, especially in the UAE region. And based on what I've seen, no, there isn't a central, location where they can capture that data. So that's, I would say, me or my expertise or my team, we've helped to develop this. We've built a platform which helps to, overcome that issue. Basically, we clean the data, we structure it, we put it in a central environment where we can share that data with any e-commerce platform provider or any B2B who needs both product data, they need structured data, so we can help in that area.
So you do it on the fly once you import the data from different vendors, right?
Yeah, from on the fly point of view, what we've done is from a price and trending point of view, we do that on the fly. From a product point of view, obviously there's a bit of internal process where we look at multiple vendors, we capture that data, and we obviously match that data and make sure we have written some decent intelligent algorithms, I would say, that recognize that if it's in a product, for example, Apple, manufacturer vendor is Apple, the phone is red, so automatically corrects that and said, no, it's not red, it's product red. If it's color is black, someone's written, said, no, it's not black, it's titanium black, it corrects that. So that's done on the fly. Yes.
Yeah, interesting. Well, this looks like a huge inefficiency in general, but I guess if there is no central register, then this is what needs to be done. So it's great that you have actually been working on a solution for this inefficiency. And speaking of inefficiencies, are there any trends that you have been observing, especially in retail and e-commerce?
Trends, again, from a technology point of view, obviously, like I mentioned earlier, um, speaking to a lot of technical CTOs, are working on these platforms, and we do a lot of internal, informal, engagements as well. Obviously, the biggest trend is implementing AI, and how to make use of that. Again, I come back to my original thing, AI without organized data, it's a hype. Everyone's obviously talking about it. So transforming industry, obviously AI is going to transform industries, right? It's going to transform how we work, it's definitely going to boost productivity, right? But there's one thing, AI is only good, like I said, as its what do you call it? As its data is, the more good data you feed it, the more good output you're going to get out of it. So what the trends I see is basically a lot of people try to implement these AI solutions, but whether they're doing it in the right way, that's something to be discussed, and understand. Another thing is a lot of people obviously trying to reduce the cost, obviously from an efficiency point of view, and using different platforms of the cloud environment, and then obviously the biggest trend in the Middle East is obviously it's a young, population in terms of age, in the sense that they're very tech savvy. They want everything done instantly, based on that apps, like any apps, on the phones or on the laptop. It's very, what do you call, efficient for them to use. So developing your products and your platforms, or whatever, any solution that you need in an application or an app, is key, right? So for that, what the trends I've seen, that people obviously are moving to what do you call, online payments a lot as well. Obviously in the early days, I would say there was a bit of untrust available in the online platforms, where you wouldn't pay online, especially in the Middle Eastern region I'm talking about here, where it was cash on delivery. It was always cash. But then over time, I've seen that they've slightly shifting away from the cash on delivery, and more on online payments, right? So obviously, Web3, blockchain, digital wallets, they're playing a big part, where people are able to obviously trust and obviously pay online instantly. So again, from e-commerce perspective, the biggest trends, I would say, from that side of the world is definitely online deliveries and web payments, are taking a big shape, or shaping the whole industry in that region.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of deliveries, what is the expectation from customers? It's been a few years since I visited Dubai. So what does it look like these days?
Um, Honestly, it's amazing. When I say amazing, you can get anything within 15 minutes.
Wow.
If you want a bottle of water or a bottle of milk, you can have it delivered instantly.
Wow.
The efficiency there is, it's very competitive in terms of the delivery market. I know in the UK, and obviously in Europe as well, there's obviously delivery options available, but the efficiency and the urgency that I see in the Middle East, I haven't seen it anywhere yet at this stage. And it's and they're doing an amazing job. Obviously they're trying to create these 15-minute cities, where the government is providing a lot of initiative, where you can get everything, or travel and get everything within 15 minutes. But from a delivery point of view, honestly, it's amazing. Yes, there might be a slight cost to it, certain things, or there's membership fees that you can join, which help, and then obviously you don't pay for any extra delivery charges. Yeah, currently it's 15 minutes, but I've heard there's a new platform coming online, which is they say 8 minutes.
No way.
Yeah,
Wow.
eight
So you
minutes.
you order
So
something and you have it within 8 minutes?
8 minutes, yes, yeah. And I'm talking about, obviously, your essentials, right? Household essentials type of thing. From a food, obviously deliveries, takeaway, and all. Yes, that might still stay within 15 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes. Obviously, you want your food freshly packed and cooked, right? You don't want it within 8 minutes. You're thinking, hold on, what has he done in 8 minutes, right? But
Yeah.
you know, you like you want your groceries delivered to you. You know, your vegetables, your fruit, literally, honestly, you can get delivered in 15 to, or like I said, it's going to be 8 minutes now, you know. And for that, what do you need? Obviously, you need good data, you know, obviously making sure that you've got the right products in place. And when you obviously somebody from, as a consumer point of view, you're trying to order something and it understands which location you're in, right? And based on that, and the infrastructure needs to be there. So these delivery companies, I would say tech companies, again, I come back to technology in a sense that I think today, whichever business you're in, meaning you could be selling shoes, you can sell be vegetables in the market, you're first a digital company, then you're a, you know, a grocer or you're a manufacturer, because you are using some form of technology to help you build your business or scale your business or sell your business, right? So you might even have a phone where you got a little app where you looking at your products and trying to sell them. You're still a technology company, right? So technology is playing a great part in all of these circles. So like for deliveries, we see there's a huge logistics behind it, right? A huge tech developments happening and understanding the consumer, understanding the locations where this product needs to be delivered from, and whether they can deliver in 15 minutes, you know. If they can't, again, obviously there's a lot of competition in the Middle Eastern regions again with the deliveries. They give you incentives, meaning from a consumer point of view, it's amazing. Where if the delivery is late by a minute or two, I get rewards. You know, so they guarantee. How do they guarantee that? Because using technology, they understand where you're located, and based on that, what kind of data has been collected from there. Meaning, if I'm living in a community where somebody's ordering milk, you know, quite regularly, so they need to have a location where there's milk always available, right? And how do they manage that? Basically, it's all the data that they collected from our consumer behavior perspective, and then also them understanding the location. So yeah, like you said, asking, sorry, the delivery market is exploding, and it's going to be quite exciting in the future as well. I can imagine you just think, and it's going to be at your doorstep, you know.
Unbelievable. This competitive environment is just impressive, really. When you think about what can be achieved within 8 minutes. I mean, for me, I can just barely get the jacket and to the elevator, and 2, 3, 4 minutes pass already. And those guys can like collect the groceries and deliver across a few blocks, and well, unbelievable. Okay, and speaking of people actually behind the computers, or people actually implementing those technologies, there are obviously smart technologies, programmers, engineers, product people. So the teams also need to be world class, I guess, in order to be able to deliver on these products. So what have you seen, and what worked for you in order to build high performing teams?
um, okay, I would say number one is having the right skill set. That's key. And then obviously having the right team who understand what you are trying to build or trying to deliver. Um, my career spanned over 20 years now, or 20 plus years, and I've worked in different sectors, from obviously finance, from utilities, from government, and then even ed tech, you know, and then currently with the e-commerce retail market. And what I've seen is, um, I would say I've been fortunate that I've had the right people that I've engaged with, and the right leadership I've had, you know, exposed to me in the past, and that developed me in such a way that I can understand what kind of skill set is required, or what kind of people you need to build the product or the platform from a technology perspective. So I would say, obviously, having the right culture as well in the organization, and giving them the, you know, the autonomy and the freedom to experiment. I'm a really great believer in experimentation, as a, you know, obviously early days when I was myself a junior developer, senior developer, software development, did a lot of obviously experimentations, and I've obviously pushed that on to my teams as well. Obviously, becoming a senior manager, or when you move up into the ladder, it doesn't mean that you forget those what you've learned, right? And so passing that on to your team members is making sure that they understand that they have the freedom. So for me, making sure that you've got the right team in a way that they understand both from a business and a technology point of view. I've run multiple sessions where we call it internally, we call it the daily status update, where I make sure that both the technology and the business teams are involved. It might not be related to each other, I mean, from what we are discussing, the topic, but it makes sense that they understand from a business point of view what's going on, and then the technology team understands, and vice versa, that both teams understand how they impact each other. So having the right skills, making sure that they have the freedom to obviously experiment and make, yes, they're going to make mistakes, but that helps us in the future, become more efficient. So what I've learned definitely from obviously implementing new trends and new technologies. Obviously, as you know, innovation never stops. There's always new solutions coming on the market, and everybody's, especially what we call the new blood, I would say, from a technology, but they're always keen to learn and they want to implement new solutions. But given that freedom, I think is key. Making sure that they have the autonomy to do that, and they understand from what's required from the business point of view, whether they can deliver that. So giving that freedom is key, I think.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you mentioned experiments, and that's something that definitely helps to innovate. What would you do if you joined a team and they are a bit resistant because you are the new CTO, you propose experiments, and they're like, "Well, we tried something like this, this will not work." There would be a little resistance. I can envision. How would you handle such a situation?
I think again, it's just to trying to make them understand, right? When you say resistance, resistance comes in different forms, meaning that introducing new technology in any organization, right, is going to cause resistance. They might be used to their legacy environment, which is, why fix something what's already working, right? But then you need to look at different angles, both from business point of view in terms of efficiency, profitability from a business point of view, but from a technology as well. We don't want to be left behind, right? You need to move on and try to introduce new solutions, type of thing. So it could be that a team that hasn't been given the opportunity to learn about the new solutions or the new technologies, type of thing. So give them that bit of a, I would say, learning and development environment, right? And say, look, try this out and see whether it works. It's enhancing their skill set, and it'll help also the organization itself. So I think for me is making, having this communication and having a feedback process where why are they resistant to this? Try to understand that, and then look at those and try to break those down in small little steps and say, look, we can overcome these challenges. I'm always passionate about new technology and moving on with new solutions, type of thing. So I believe that giving that bit of insight to the challenge, for resistance that you get, I think it's just to make them understand and just to discuss with them and say, try to understand why they try to resist, and then overcoming that step by step.
I see. Wonderful, cool. And people listening to this podcast now, they may wonder, what about cloud? Asif hasn't mentioned cloud yet. Although, it's been here for 15 years by now. I guess lots of companies have been using it. So it's nothing new, but at the same time, I guess there is a lot of going on also on the cloud side when it comes to new services that these cloud providers implement. So is there anything interesting that you have seen in retail and e-commerce companies regarding cloud integrations?
Yeah, like you said, cloud's been in our field for quite a while now, 20 plus years, I would say. But the adoption of cloud has literally exploded since things have become, I would say, more efficient in a sense of from availability point of view and how easy it is to scale. You see lots of big vendors from the cloud. Obviously, the big three are Zeos, the Googles, and the AWSs. They give you a lot of incentives now, to try and develop your solutions on the cloud. So the biggest thing currently, again, it's to do with AI. They help try to help you. You don't have to be a super duper, AI engineer anymore. They can help you and guide you implement these solutions. So they've already got these pre-built services in the cloud itself. Again, migrating to the cloud has become much easier compared to what it used to be in the past. So, on-prem to off-prem solutions have become much easier as well. So they provide you a lot of support, which I'm also a member of one of the large vendors. I won't mention any names, but from a support point of view and the guidance that you get from these cloud vendors is amazing, honestly. They walk you through step by step, and every assistance is available. Again, managing your databases, managing your APIs, managing your microservices has become very, very easy. Monitoring your environments. The cost has literally become more, what do you call it? It's reduced such considerably that it's pennies in storage nowadays, type of thing. So moving into the cloud is definitely one of the big advantages for technology, or anybody who wants to move into technology, especially the e-commerce space, or because there's a lot of data. You're capturing a lot of data from, or you're displaying a lot of data as well from visual point of view, and then obviously the data point of view, and storing that data, and then obviously pulling out analytics out of that as well. So the cloud vendors, again, they've got multiple solutions within services that you can just plug and play. You just add a service and you get some amazing insights as well.
Well, I was just going through this list of services recently from AWS, and it's just endless. I remember 8 years ago or 9 when I was integrating some solution. The list was not. It was just above the fold on one page, probably 30 different solutions. And now they have all these products for analytics and visual detection or anomaly detection. Like, I don't even, I cannot even get to the bottom of the list. I cannot imagine someone like really knowing it all.
Yeah, honestly, Michael, you think of it, if they haven't had the solution today, they will have it like tomorrow, so obviously the more you stay on the cloud, and obviously, it's a win-win solution for both, meaning from a big tech company or small tech company, and also for them, right? Obviously, their business is providing this service, and it's obviously they make money out of this as well, from the storage, from hosting your platforms and all that. But it's also amazing for somebody who doesn't know how to start a business in technology nowadays. Again, with this AI integration, you can click a button, your website's ready in minutes, right? You just give it a few prompts, or you give it a few instructions. This is your business. This is what you want to do, have some pictures, and your website's all built and ready by these big vendors. Again, how is that possible? Because of these big cloud solution vendors, they have these services running at the back end. Where they can manage your database, they can manage your domains, and they can manage your requirements from adding payment links. That you used to go through so many forms you have to fill out in the past, just to get a wallet on your website. But now it's literally a click of a button because of these vendors helping businesses to grow.
Really, I haven't even noticed that they also provide payment solutions. Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah. It's amazing. Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. Wonderful. So, is there anything else that you would like the leaders in retail tech companies to know about recent development? Anything that we haven't talked about, but you think everyone in the retail tech space should know about?
Well, again, I think what I know, what I've seen, they probably don't talk about it honestly, but they have a lot of internal challenges. It's all to do with their data again. I know they have big teams at the back end, cleaning, structuring the data, manual intervention, spreadsheets, going back and forth from different. There's no single centralized database Everybody's trying to merge, sheets in with each other. Yes, there are solutions out there, big vendors are out there to help, but I think my big say or ask is that if anybody's out there who's looking for some support in terms of cleansing data, organizing data, automating the data, making it more efficient, I can definitely help and support in terms of both consultancy as well as a solution. Again, going back to the original conversation we had, getting your data right first is the key, and then it just explodes. You can do multiple things. So once you get your data right, you can sell, you can organize, you can obviously pull an analytics out of it, understand, obviously you want to grow your business, you want to understand what's happening with your competitors. And based on that, having the right structure, right data will help.
And speaking of the consultancy, or even if someone would just like to talk about your experience and how you can potentially help, where can they find you? Is it LinkedIn, or do you have some other website that you would like people to visit?
I think for me, I've always been a great fan of LinkedIn. Honestly, I don't have any of the social media. You won't find me anywhere else. You know, again, I think, yeah, you're right. LinkedIn is the best way to reach out to me. Once you ping me or DM me there, I'm always happy to respond back and speak and provide my insights as well. I'm always happy to share my thoughts, and I'm really passionate about technology, what's coming into the market. I love to see the next generation to grow from a technology point of view. I do a lot of mentoring as well for the college students. They obviously ask, "Oh, what do you see? What's coming into the market? What should we study?" I always say to them, look 5 years ahead. What you're studying now, yes, it might be relevant, but by the time you leave university or you leave your college, it might be obsolete. So you need to always think ahead, and obviously read around markets, read around information technology, articles, join communities, join forums, and that'll keep you posted. But obviously speaking to leaders like myself or anybody else that they think is the right person to speak to understand what's going on in the market.
Wonderful. Okay, so I'll include the link in the show notes.
Thank you.
So yeah, thanks a lot for joining. Thanks for sharing the insights, and yeah, I hope to see you soon again.
Thank you, Michael. Thanks for the opportunity, and I'm always available to speak to anybody. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you. See you soon. Bye.